Washington here, and I'm going to unpack my latest package that I got from trenchjackers.etsy.com. This is so cool. This is going to be a t-shirt that I got right here. No lie, because you know I wouldn't lie. This is one of the coolest t-shirts ever. 1776 to 2026. It's me rocking out on Eddie Van Halen's guitar. What's more American than that? So check it out. Link is in the bio. Get yours today and represent America the rockin' way. Ha ha. Hey everybody, George Washington here, and I'm going to unpack my latest package that I got from trenchjackers.etsy.com. This is so cool. This is going to be a t-shirt that I got.
Welcome to The Best of Intentions, a podcast from Intention Films and Media, hosted by writer, director, former film commissioner, and novelist Deborah Markowitz. So join us as we talk about all things creative.
Hi, this is Debbie Markowitz from The Best of Intentions, the podcast of Intention Films and Media. So happy to be back in the studio for the second week with Tony Walker, running things in the background over there. And I'm so happy you joined us. It's great to see you here. And this is more like a conversation, I think, this podcast is I bring people generally that I know and I want to find out what they're doing, and you're kind of eavesdropping on us, so just enjoy that. But I would like to welcome today's guest, who I've known for a number of years, who does just about freaking everything in this industry. So this is Greg Cioffi, who is a writer, director, poet, actor, and I even learned so much more about you right before we started this. Yes. But hi.
Hello, thanks for having me.
You're quite welcome. I just got to bring up something that I had no idea that you actually were Tony from Tony and Tina's wedding, and I had no idea you were doing this.
Yes, I did that gig for a long time. I still do it once in a while. Even just a few weeks ago, I came back from Milwaukee on tour. I've been doing that for over a decade.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And I just have never heard about that. I've never gone to it. I've never heard about it. And but it's always been in the back of your mind as something that's been around forever. So that's
it's so
cool.
fun. If it ever comes around, check it out.
Cool.
Yeah.
One thing that really, really impressed me, and we'll talk about some of your older stuff too, but you just directed a film and you had a small part in it called Beyond the Silent Night.
Yes.
And I know that's going to be in the Long Island International Film Expo this year. I know it premiered, I think, at Big Apple Film Festival.
Yes, it did.
It is such a beautiful film.
Thank you.
So just tell us a little bit about the film.
Yeah, so Beyond the Silent Night is a tribute to the remembrance of 9/11. It is a magical realist story, for lack of a better words. It actually started out, I teach a writing class at night at Nassau Community College, so I get a lot of adult students as part of the continuing education program there. And I had a student who wrote a short story. His name is Robert Duffy. And I was just blown away by the story. This was a number of years ago. And I said, if you ever wanted to actually, make this into a film or adapt it in some way, I would be honored to help in any way. And he kicked it around for a few years. Robert was also an actual FBI agent, and the film is about an FBI agent as well. Originally, the short story took place the first Christmas Eve after 9/11. So one of the first decisions we made when we decided to actually go about creating this thing was that we didn't really have the budget to make it a period piece. 25 years ago is a different world now, right? So we updated it. So instead of it being his first case, this FBI agent character, it was now his last moment. So the film starts at his retirement party. And it's basically, without giving too much away, there's this agent who has just retired, and all we know is he has to give something to someone, but we don't really know what it is or who it is. And he goes on this journey through a bewitched New York City, kind of Christmas Carol vibes. And he's very apprehensive about getting to his final journey spot, but he also knows it's something he has to do, and we sort of take that journey with him.
See, now, I hadn't said that to you, but that's exactly what reminded me of. That's one of my favorite movies, A Christmas Carol.
Oh, yes.
So when I think that's probably, I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that was one of the things that really resonated with me is sort of that kind of fairy tale, kind of movie going through that stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely a magical element to it. We don't, a lot of people who see the movie do equate it with, oh, that's a little Christmas Carol-y, Ours is probably not as in your face that, what are these people? Are they real? Are they specters? Are they spirits? Are they part of his imagination? Because he encounters these 3, let us say, people on his way through New York City, and they know things a stranger wouldn't know, right? So we're always teeter-tottering on, what's real and what's not, right? And we kind of leave it ambiguous as well.
Can we play the trailer for this? Because it's just so beautiful. I want to see it again.
Okay.
I think a lot about what the world was like back then.
It was a moment of unexpected tragedy.
It's about to be frigid out there, and you have to put out a fire. That is what people in your line of work call it, right?
Sometimes I think I'm more like Two-Face. My light side and dark side vying for dominance.
The heroes can't be everywhere at once.
It's very important to say the things that we need to say. We only get so many chances.
Hang on. Now you're back, sorry.
I just love every image in that movie. And you work with a lot of people that I've worked with. Now, one of the stars, Sal Rendino.
Oh, so good.
Sal, we love you, Sal.
Sal was phenomenal. He carried the movie. He's in almost pretty much every scene, and he's just utterly focused in every single moment. Kind of perfect for this role. So he's also, he works a lot. So I was just really happy to actually get him, but he was available for like just those 3 days. It just happened to fit it.
Yeah, and probably in between that was the film I was doing with him, which was a couple of guys. I think that was about the same time too. But it's the same thing. You got to book him in advance because he does theater and he does television. He does a lot of independent film. He's just, as we were saying, he's the consummate actor. He's just perfect.
He is. It's funny, when we wrapped on this film, literally we wrapped and then he had to go to another film set, and I think it was out of state. And it was also funny because Dan Laurie was also in that next film.
Oh, wow.
And Dan Laurie obviously was in this film as
Well,
well.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
That's right. And you had Dan Laurie in it from the Wonder Years, and
Yes.
he's wonderful. And
He is.
just the nicest guy ever.
He
You
is.
know, I've cast him a few times. He's pretty amazing. And then I found for you Carl Everett Atwater, who was on a pilot that I was directing called Welcome to Bellevue.
Yeah.
And I know there was somebody we were looking at, and we couldn't really get the person. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and also I look across the lunch table, I'm like, and I think I sent you a picture. I'm like, Greg, what about this guy? And then I walked over to Carl and spoke to him, and I told him a little bit about it. He goes, I'll talk to him. And then he ended up being in this movie.
Isn't that funny how that works?
I
Yeah.
love when that happens.
We've really assembled a true great ensemble for this piece, right?
Yeah.
There is not a weak link.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe me. But I was last minute, like, because the actor I really wanted got a really great gig that paid way more. And so it was the last minute, Robert Duffy was just like, why don't you just do it? And I was like, fine, I'll just do it. You know? But yeah.
So cool. It was one of my favorite things. But I've seen a lot of your movies. Oh, wait, there's another one you just did I have not seen yet. I was working. I know you had a premiere, and I couldn't make it. But tell us about A Mother's Voice.
A Mother's Voice is another special one in my estimation. I really enjoyed the process. And similar story to Beyond the Silent Night. I had an adult writing student in my class. His name is John Ardito. He is a lawyer in real life, and so we started writing these legal dramas in class, short stories, and then he tried his hand at a screenplay. And much like Robert Duffy, his story also came from when he first started as a lawyer, and he worked these certain cases that had to do with this certain act that New York State does not have, called the Grieving Families Act, one of only 2 states in the country to not have this legislation passed. And so one of the things I teach in my classes, in my writing classes, is you can write from a perspective of social criticism. So that could be your starting point. So we started thinking about that. And he's like, there is this one issue in my field that I feel very passionate about. It's kind of followed me along my journey professionally. And so he wrote this beautiful story about a family who lost a young daughter due to medical malpractice. And then the courtroom legality side of it all, of what it's like dealing with a case like that and attempting to procure monies for the grief and suffering of the parents, but that's not allowed in New York State. So he wrote this script based on those experiences, and same thing. I was like, if you ever wanted to make this into an actual production, let me know. I'd be honored to help. And literally on the spot, he was like, let's start.
All right.
And it was really quick. Like, we filmed it this year. It premiered this year already. Where Beyond the Silent Night had a little bit more time. We also had a specific, obviously this year's the 25th anniversary, so we had a longer deadline. But for this film, we gathered another great crew, another great cast. I will say also this film, I'm very proud of the fact that I feel like there's not a weak link.
Oh, that's amazing.
And, in up to down, and it's also an ensemble film. It's a large cast, and it's 20 minutes. Beyond the Silent Night, it's 23 minutes, and sometimes for a short film,
that's
you don't
hard,
get
right?
a lot of actors and also have it feel structurally even. But I will say, like, everyone has their moment, right? And everyone delivers. There's just a handful of phenomenal actors in that film as well. And I think the film packs a punch. Like you said, we just made our premiere at Adelphi, like a private family friends premiere, and now we're about to hit the festival circuit with that film. So of overlapping films on the circuits. Some years I got nothing going on, and sometimes you have multiple things going on.
That is this business. And then if you don't do something for a couple of months, it feels like you have not been on set for years.
I know.
So it's just.
I know.
I mean, that's one reason we end up working so much is, I'm out of work for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, we're never working again. John's like, we just wrapped our film.
I know. I think that's usually when I jump to like another medium or form of art. Like when I'm not getting cast as an actor, I'll be writing a lot. Or when I'm not writing a lot, I'll be prepping for a directorial project. So that's sort of my way of dealing with the lack of work or opportunity at any given moment, of just jump to one of these other things I do.
Yeah, I mean, what I find really frustrating is I love making movies, but when I'm making movies, I'm not writing. Yeah. And I miss writing, but then when I'm writing, I'm like, I want to make a movie.
Yeah.
And it's just this craziness that happens. But
do you ever direct things that you do not write?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I directed Welcome to Bellevue.
Okay.
And I also helped cast that, produced it. I also directed a couple of films. Horizon. I directed a movie called Horizon. There's another movie that had them take my name off of it. But it was, I think it was during COVID, and it was a completely new writer, and he was recommended to me, and I read the script, and I'm like, you gotta let me clean this up. And I did, and we shortened it, and I gave him a script and kind of wrote out what all the action was so he would see, and he loved it. And I was very clear with him that, I have to be involved in the editing process. So now, meanwhile, it's during COVID. So at this point, we're allowed to film, but I think there were a lot of guidelines. So basically, I'm in one area, and John's, he can be close to me. We live together. And he was shooting it, and then like somebody else was, all the way in another. We shot the puppet theater, so somebody was nuts. So everybody was spread out, and we could do this well.
I remember that.
And when it's over, I don't hear anything. And then he puts up laurels from an awards film festival. And awards, you don't submit to awards film festivals. They're pay for play kind of things. But anyway, I see it come up. I'm like, it's done? And so I'm like, you have to show this to me. And he goes, yeah, well, I have to get approval. I'm like, no, I'm the director. You actually
I am the approval.
Don't actually. And it took him a while to show it to me. And it was just... no color correction.
Right.
Too long. He was complaining, goes, you don't understand. I put in a lot of time in this. It took me hours to edit it with someone. I'm like, yes.
Hours.
Yes, it does. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
And
it's going to take a little bit more, I think, too. Yeah.
And what he would do, he didn't want to pay for his post sound. So what he did was he just throw in random subtitles when you couldn't hear something.
Brilliant.
And I'm like, what?
Creative solutions all day long.
No. And then he would, it was the story was an old theater guy who had an addiction, and it was, I think, at the end of the world kind of thing. And so it's in this old puppet theater, and we kind of production design messed it up to look like it was the end of the world, and so he just goes into this dialogue. Every time he mentioned something about the old days, the guy would just throw in all this flashback stuff from the guy's actual theater stuff.
Sure.
I was like, no, but it didn't fit the way he just randomly threw in things. It's like, I said, you know what?
It's a very delicate process.
Yeah, please take my name off of this.
Yeah. You got to do that sometimes.
Yeah, because it needed to be done right, and you didn't. And what could I have done differently? I'm like, let me advise you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the thing that I've done 40 times before that I can help you with. So I think that's one of the only times I had somebody take my name off. But yeah, I've done it a few times. I've directed for other people, which is, and you know what? When they hand you the keys, that's the best.
Yeah, because they trust you with their baby, with their vision.
Exactly. And so that works out. And sometimes you can have a great collaboration, and that's fine too. But it's when somebody just, okay, thanks for the footage, and then runs, but have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no.
I do find it just a naturally different process of when my name's on the screenplay versus when it's not, just in terms of understanding something on a different level, like inside out in my bones, because it's organic, it came from me. Even if I collaborated with another writer, or if I adapted a short story into the short film, right, and I wrote the screenplay, there is for me, an understanding of it that's like ubiquitous, right? Sometimes it's a bit harder to get in there for me when I never touch the screenplay, right? And I get it, and I'm trying to create a vision or align a vision, and sometimes it works out great, and sometimes like, I never really quite.
Yeah. I have to, if somebody sends something to me and I don't feel it right away, I'll pass on it. And I'll refer somebody else who I think it'll work for. But
if I can't add to it, right? If I have nothing to say about it, then I'm not the one who should be at the helm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I direct pretty much by intuition. You have the skills because you've done it a long time. But to me, it's this feels right.
Yeah.
This feels right.
Yeah.
And you can have the ending you think you need, and then but something doesn't feel right.
Yeah, often something works intellectually, but it does not feel right.
Yes.
And you have to be willing to sort of let go of the idea of it and be willing to just accept whatever it wants to give you,
Yeah. Or you decide you want something, and I'm just insanely creative where I'll see things that don't exist, and I'll tell John, and John be like, that's impossible, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can't. Yeah,
That
it
defies
probably-
physics as
Probably,
we know it.
yeah. I know. He's a physics guy. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can see it in my brain, but no, it can't happen in reality. But for the most part, you can achieve what you want, and
Sure.
when you write it, or if you feel something somebody else has given you, like you knew the two people you could say, hey, if you ever want to do it, because you felt it.
Yes, exactly.
And that's kind of how it goes for me.
John, so the deal with John Ardito for Mother's Voice was like, all right, if we're doing this, you're the main lawyer. And I was like, if I can direct it, I'll do it.
Okay.
So that's how we kind of came to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm not of that world, of that lawyer world, so the script intrigued me.
Right.
And it was so authentic, right? Like, it was basically like having a consultant on set that knew all the ins and outs, right, of the law as your producer. And so probably the greatest compliment I received on set was that we had a lunch break one day, and we just did a bunch of courtroom scenes, and one of the crew members asked me, he's like, so are you a lawyer first,
I love that.
and then like you act? And I was like, no, you understand, I didn't know what any of this meant when I got the script. It was all legal jargon. It was like learning a new language.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the greatest compliment paid to me. I all of a sudden felt like, okay, this is
Absolutely.
okay.
Can I ask you some questions? I have this problem.
Yeah, exactly. I need some advice, some legal advice. Yeah.
Well, they say that lawyers actually make really good actors and
Interesting.
really good writers.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Because they see all that drama every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, just, cut and paste running them. But sometimes the cases are pretty intriguing.
It is quite dramatic. So John actually took me to a trial to prep for the role.
Wow.
Right? And so we sat in this courtroom, and the thing that I was most surprised about that I did not realize was how intense it really gets. Like, a lot of those lawyers are quite intimidating to the people on the stand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was, really just barraging them with questions and counter questions, and I was like, wow, like
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah?
I did. I was studying for my LSATs, and I let my ex talk me out of doing it. He said, wait a year, just wait a year, which is the worst thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got pregnant, and then I never went. But I
Sure.
wanted to be a lawyer so badly. And when I divorced that person, I had just the most amazing lawyer ever of my divorce, but he was a character.
Yeah.
And he was very good at what he did. He would have been a phenomenal actor. And I just remember him going, it was just tedious and ridiculous, and nobody wanted to be there except my ex. It's like, why? Just let's talk. Let's get it over with, do it. But I just remember my lawyer, I knew that my ex made some ridiculous mistake on the stand, and my lawyer just turned to me and he goes, don't laugh. I'm like, okay. And he turns around and he said something, and I'm trying not to laugh, but he nailed him at something, and I'm just, he's trying to get a rise out of him, but it was a performance.
Yes.
It was such an amazing performance, but he knew exactly what he had to do to get the response he wanted.
You should cast him in a future film.
He died.
Oh, no.
I
Sorry.
know, I would have.
Yeah.
He was awesome. I actually named a character after him in Brimstone. The lawyer was named after him.
Very nice.
But I mean, it kept me sane.
Yeah.
But it was all a performance, and he would wear these ridiculous ties because it would set off the other lawyers. Like, what is he wearing?
My cousin Vinny style. Yes.
But
you're right. It is a performance, and when I was watching it too, something I really tried to play with as an actor is the difference between my character is called Fig. His name is Fig. The difference between when Fig is in the court versus Fig in the office when no one can see. Right? There's just the secretary there or the other workers, and there is a difference, right?
Oh yeah.
Performativity to me is always a really interesting topic because I teach as well, and I also view, teaching as performative. It is a performance, and that's not in a bad way. But I used to have a professor, and she said, before she walks into the classroom, she's Joan. But when she puts her lipstick on, she becomes Dr. Walker, right? And then she walks in the room, and it's that person, right? That doesn't mean you're not as authentic one way or the other. But when I teach in my classroom, there is a performativity to being a professor, I feel like.
John, do you feel as a performer, do you perform when you're a professor? I think he's the same no matter what. I don't think John changes. I don't know, do you? Are you silly
A little bit.
Are you silly in class? You're not silly in class.
It depends.
Okay, so it
Sure.
depends.
When I'm teaching a technical subject,
Mhm.
probably not.
Okay.
If I'm, usually I'm very logical flat.
Right.
Like when the kid asked me about the bandsaw,
Yeah.
I'm teaching carpentry. I don't know if I should do this. Again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it is performative. That's basically.
Yeah.
Yes, it depends.
It depends. Okay. Yeah, I guess anything like that, if you have to talk. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess it is, because when I was the Nassau County Film Commissioner for
Mm-hmm.
33 years, and I used to be ridiculously shy, but I would pretend that I
Yeah.
was good at it. When I had to
Yeah.
go speak in a room, I could speak in a room with 3,000 people. I was on television. I would just pretend I was good at it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it.
Yeah, and now it means like almost nothing to me. I
Yeah.
can do anything, and it doesn't actually faze me. But people,
Yeah.
how do you publicly speak? I said, in the very beginning, I just pretended I was good at it, and
Yeah.
because I had been doing what I had been doing for so long, that I knew it like the back of my head. I didn't need notes. I didn't need anything. I
Sure.
knew the answers. So it
Public
was-
speaking can be very scary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
there
like
is
writing.
see, it is performative. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it actually really is. So, what was the first film you made?
As a director, or
Yeah, I'm gonna say as a director.
oh goodness, I think the first film I directed was The Museum of Lost Things, which
Okay,
premiered in
I saw that.
2018. It's interesting, like my journey of my artistry. I definitely started off as a writer. Like I always knew I wanted to write.
Same.
And then in college, I stumbled into acting and then started to take it seriously. Took classes, joined the theater club, and then eventually went back and formally trained. And then right after that, because I'm always like so intrigued about when I'm on set of what other people, their jobs are and how they do what they do and how they make 20 extras look like 100, and so I would just watch and observe, and I think I just picked up a lot directorially just watching intriguing people, and then basically what happened was Dennis Paul, who wrote the short story The Museum of Lost Things, he wanted to make it into a film. I was like, let's do it. We started interviewing directors, but no one kind of got the vision. No one got what was in his head, and I saw what was in his head. So eventually, after we couldn't find anyone, I was just like, just let me do it. Just give it to me, and let's do it. And then I fell in love with directing, really. But that was the first one I directed.
And then I remember seeing a film of yours, and I think you directed it. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I knew Mark Ryu, I'm pretty sure he shot it. It was such a pretty film. It took place on a beach where you couldn't talk. What was the name of it?
Oh, Silenced?
Yeah.
It was like almost like post-apocalyptic, Last Man on Earth.
That was a beautiful
Mark
film.
also directed that.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he shot it and directed it. I wrote it and was the lead in it. Yeah.
I remember that one stuck out in my brain. That was really
I
pretty.
really like that one. I feel like that one never kind of got the festival circuit run it deserved, because I think it was a great little film.
Yeah.
It played with the metaphor of dance as a form of communication, because in this post-apocalyptic world, we all lost our ability to speak. So as this last man is basically looking for any survivors, the only form of communication he has is his physicality. Yeah, it's a pretty little film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So you directed, your first time directing was the Museum of Lost Things. I did know you directed that.
Yeah.
I know that the majors were involved.
Yeah.
And then what did you do? How many films have you directed, would you say?
5 or 6, I think, at this point. Yeah.
And now you're looking to do a feature.
Yeah, I would love to do feature. That's definitely next on the bucket list. I feel like I've grown comfortable, right, directing short films, and so the logical next step is to take a bite out of a feature film one day. Of course, the constraints are always, the budget.
Money, yeah.
Of course, as always. But yeah, I think that would be an interesting experience.
Have you written something with that in mind?
Yes, definitely. I definitely have a couple of scripts that are feature length that are either ready to go or like halfway there. So I do have them in my back pocket.
That's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, when I did my first feature, it's just same thing. I'd done so many shorts and pilots. And I said to John, it's time for me to do a feature.
Yeah.
And John's usual way of dealing with that is going, okay, well, how can we make that happen
Yes.
with no money? And even no money is a misnomer. There's always some money involved, even when it's no money. But we decided what we could do, since John is a teacher, since John has done everything on set, is we actually trained all of our crew members.
Interesting.
Torturous.
Yes.
I mean, we got it done. It was a cool experience, but it was John teaching an AD. You were teaching an AD at that point. He was teaching somebody how to AD, which meant he was doing most of it. He was teaching somebody sound.
Right.
He was teaching everything.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah. And some people started doing it for a living, and some people said, yeah, this was cool, and this is something I never want to do again. But there were days on set. It was John and me, John doing sound and shooting it and ADing it, and 2 actors.
Yeah.
And that's just, because the agreement with the leads was that they would do it, and they wanted to do it for free, because I didn't feel comfortable having people doing stuff for free, but they're like, oh no, it's so hard to get a leading role.
Sure, especially in a feature.
Yeah, if it's local and you will work with our schedules, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So it took us like 6 months to film it.
Wow.
Because you had to wait for the schedules. That was the agreement. You know? And people got us a bunch of free locations, which was awesome. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good little film. It's the thing that always suffers is money. When okay, we have to do everything here because this is what we can afford.
Yes.
People
But the
have
power of
no
community,
idea.
I think, is one of the unsung heroes of this film industry, especially the local film industry. You know, people are extremely supportive. Especially if they're not actually in the industry, but they see what you're doing, and so many people offer to help in so many ways. Many of them can't, there's no way to, but just the offer itself is always, it always gets me. Yeah.
You have to, and I think even as filmmakers, we really have to help each other. Now, maybe you work on bigger projects and you get paid what you should get paid, or almost what you should get paid, but then there's somebody else that comes along and it's like, yeah, all right, let me help. This person has some talent. Let me see what, if I can help them. I know that I can't do what I used to do, which would be people would just throw screenplays at me, and it's like so I had to get to one. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't read it unless you have the money and the budget and you're ready to hire me. Then let me look at it. But,
right.
I never also wanted to be in the position because there's only so many ideas.
Of course.
And I've written things which I never made, and then I'm watching TV and I see it, and I know they didn't steal it from me. I never made it.
Yeah.
But then there's people who think they have the only original ideas
Of course.
ever. And so I never want to get in that, in
Yes.
that thing. I don't remember what it was, but I remember watching something on TV with John and going, that was my idea from 11 years ago and whatever, and now what if we ever make it? And John said, you have the computer stamp that you wrote this X amount of time ago, and, but it's only so many ideas, you just tell them differently.
Exactly. No matter what, it will be different than whatever they did, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about AI?
Oh God,
AI. I wasn't planning on asking.
Yeah, no, this is a great question. Obviously I deal with it in the classroom, right, in my English courses. I mean, it's a tool, right, for research, for whatever. It is a tool, and then there is a line where it no longer becomes a tool and becomes unethical, right? I tell my students all the time, if you use it to ask, you to point direction of research, or even use it as a springboard for ideas back and forth. Legitimate. However, if it's literally writing your paper, not legitimate, right? It no longer becomes you. I don't want to read a paper by ChatGPT.
Right.
I can ask it to write it, and I can read it if I wanted to do that.
Right.
I don't want to do that. In film, I was just talking to an editor who has started playing with it, right? And it does things that I did not think it could do, right? It can it can take a scene and extend music that did not exist. It could even create a shot in color correction that literally did not exist and insert it in the middle if you needed an extra 2 seconds that you didn't have. It can actually create it based on what the actual footage that is there. And this is both helpful and very scary to me. I'm not ready to run to it with open arms. there are also kind of like technical mundane things that make sense. Like, you know, I know a director of photography who now, like, anytime he needs like a spreadsheet or something, you know,
Yeah.
clerical,
The
he just plugs
tools.
it in and it creates it, and hopefully it's right.
Yeah.
You know, I saw Martin Scorsese just partnered with a AI storyboarding company, which is intriguing. So there has to be some level of embracing it because it's not going away,
Right.
but it's also creating our own boundaries for ourselves of like, this is okay, and we're going to stay away from this, right? And that can be on an individual level. I'm sure it's going to be subjective. Not everyone's going to agree where the line actually is before you cross it. But for me, you know, I'm interested in exploring human stories about the human condition. You know, I was just thinking about this the other day. If AI wrote the best book on a subject, I think especially if it's nonfiction, right? If they took all of human knowledge and wrote like the best book on physics that we could possibly have, you know, that is a book I might want to read, right? But I think something different happens when you cross the line into art, right?
Yes.
And literature and fiction, because that's different. That's I don't know, about us, from us, organically, but yeah.
There's people that feels that it's stealing from
Sure.
the actual artist.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the differences is the fact that only a human can create. So that can't come up with any original thing ever, you know,
Sure, yeah.
because it can only come from us. But if you're stuck somewhere and want to come up with some really crazy, insane thing that's never existed, if that's possible, it can only come from people. I know
Yeah.
I got really annoyed, and this is a while ago, at least 5 years ago, maybe more, because I've done some ghostwriting and whatever in the past, and they had something, want to be a writer? We can ghostwrite your script for $600. I'm like, they're not writing the script.
Yeah, no way.
They're plugging it into, and then these people.
And they're putting a fake name on it half the time.
Yeah, yeah. And what makes me crazy is these people will then go out and call themselves writers.
Yes.
And that
Very
pisses me off.
frustrating. Yes.
Yeah, because I love writing. To me, is the best thing ever. And if I had to pick just one thing, it would be writing.
Yeah.
You know, which I'm not doing a lot of these days.
Well, I think you'll see, you know, the more AI is used, the more formulaic everything will become, right? I think it will get to the point where you could probably tell, oh, this is an AI script. And
I
some
think
people
it can.
might not mind. Yeah. I don't know. Like some people, it's interesting. I feel like people also view film and TV differently now, especially the younger generation. Like I hear a lot that they almost like view it as like this ambiance, background, something to put on, right, in the background. But I don't know. I see less and less passion from young people about this specific medium of art, on a general level. And I don't know if AI has anything to do with that, but there is a lot of stuff out there, and a lot of it's like just slop, right?
Yeah.
You know, like you can watch something and you just feel like, I've seen this 8 million times. It's just different faces with slightly different words, and it's just quite repetitive. That auteur thing that just stands out, like those directors where you can watch one frame of a film and be like, I know who directed this movie. Like, you know, I don't see how AI can do that, how create that.
Yeah, probably not. I remember being at a film festival once, and every one of my movies is different, which I think can be a problem if you're trying to build a brand, because I've done horror, I've done comedy, I've done romance, and everything is different.
Yeah.
And we were at one film festival, and somebody said, and we were having this conversation, and another filmmaker said to me, but they know it's a Debbie Markowitz film. I'm like, but how? He said, your shots, your sensitivity, the way you deal with the emotions with the actors. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I hadn't realized that. Because,
Yeah.
oh, no, I can always tell you're a film, and I always know it's going to look good. And if I like that kind of subject matter, or if I don't, I still know it's your film. And I'm
Right.
still going to appreciate watching it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of cool. Okay. Well,
yeah.
that's his impression.
Yeah.
was
It is
kinda cool to
interesting
know
thinking
that.
about the commonalities between your own works. If you like had to like self-diagnose your own work and process, I definitely tend to lean towards things that have a philosophical bend.
Yeah.
And I had a DP once say, the thing about all your films is there's just something poetic about them, right? And that could be in the camera movement or in the dialogue or in the interactions of characters. But I like that very much because I think it implies something a tad heightened compared to like the everyday.
So you can tell a Greg Cioffi film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I get that. I get that. That's kind of a cool thing. Now, the other thing I heard that you are now the poet laureate for Nassau County. So tell us what this means and how this happened.
Yeah, so on the 20th of this month, I will take over. It's a 2-year post, so from 2026 to 2028, I will be the Nassau County Poet Laureate, which is such an honor. I've always dabbled in poetry. I think I started maybe as an undergrad in college, every once in a while, and like never like fully like immersed in it, but like all experiments in writing of trying different forms of writing. And then every once in a while, I'd write a poem. And then when I moved back to Long Island a few years ago, I discovered this thriving poetry scene. And I didn't even know it existed when I lived here previously. And I started going to these open mics, and I started going to these poetry events, and they're all over in Nassau and Suffolk. And I started going into the city, and I started going to Brooklyn. And there's this just exciting, powerful scene going on, and I just wanted to be a part of it. So I started writing more and more poetry because I wanted to, showcase a new poem, every time I went somewhere new. And I started amassing and collecting them, and I started getting really involved in the community and getting very close to a lot of the poets. They're now, very great friends of mine. And 2 years ago, I found out I was actually the runner-up to the laureateship, and I was fairly new in the game, so that was very surprising to me. And then a couple months ago, I found out I was going to be the next one. I'm taking over for a great poet laureate. Alan Semerjian is the current Nassau County Poet Laureate. But so on the 20th, the baton will be passed, and it's kind of a wild thing. Yeah.
Now, what do you do as a poet laureate? Do you just hold the title, or do you have to do something?
There are certain requirements that the Laureate Society dictates, like you're in charge of certain judging certain poetry contests for them, for the society. They put out an annual anthology, but every laureate also has the ability to kind of do with it what they want, right? So some laureates may want to focus on uniting all like the towns of their county or something like that. Other laureates may wish to act more as an ambassador and kind of represent their county elsewhere and take it on the road. So I'm actually calling a meeting this upcoming Friday of all the Long Island laureates that have ever been. I'm going to pick their brain of what they did, what they maybe wish they did do or didn't have enough time, what they think good ideas are, just advice of what to try and avoid, and what to strive for. And then I'm going to kind of make a list of things in my 2 years that I want to achieve and attempt to achieve them. Yeah, so the laureate, I guess, in some sense is kind of like, I don't want to say like the leader of the poets, but like in some sense, I guess that's what it is. When I first joined the scene, Paula Kirchie was the poet laureate. And she like embodied, she was like just the leader of us. She was the leader of the poets. Like we followed where she went, and we all completely trusted her, and she was like very on the ground. She was at every event. Like you knew her face. She was in the building. And other laureates, may decide to take a different route, right? So I'm figuring out who I am as a laureate as we speak. Yeah.
Now, is there actually a poet laureate office?
Or
you just do it? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious.
I'm just picturing a poet in an office, and that sounds awful.
So it's any office.
No, yeah.
Or
no.
outside or anywhere else.
No, our offices are on stage. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like my office is in my house.
Yes.
Across from my bedroom. That is my office.
Nice.
But,
nice.
Yeah. And I do have the fantasy on occasion of getting a place somewhere else just to write or look over the water or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. That that the cliche log cabin in the woods, that's a real thing, because it's very easy to get distracted, as we all know, especially now. with the constant
Yeah.
beeping of technology.
Yeah. I mean, my best time to write is 3 a.m. That's I
Yeah.
will get up. People are like, oh, let's go at 8. It's like, no, I'm getting up in a few hours. I'm not
Yeah.
going at 8.
Do you start or stop at 3 a.m.?
I start at 3
Start.
a.m. Yeah,
Hardcore.
It happens a lot. And like working on the film festival, because we now have a toddler in the house, it's the only time the house is quiet.
Sure.
So I will sit there and get massive amount of work done.
Yeah.
And when I am writing, that will be when I do my best writing.
Interesting.
It's just quiet, and I can just just zone out, and it's
Yeah.
just that's like my favorite time. And then I crash the next day.
Sure.
And I'm shot, but it
Yeah.
just you got to go with. If you don't sleep, you just got to go with it and make it work for you.
I am a night owl for sure by nature, and one of the things I find so calming and soothing about being a night owl is that like at a certain time, right, like everything just gets quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no noise, there's no sound. I feel like I'm the only human being up, and that is just a prime time to get creative work done.
But what time do you feel you generally go to sleep?
I'm probably going to sleep. I mean, especially if I don't have to be up early the next day,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 a.m. I'm going to
Really?
sleep, yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I could start writing at like 11 p.m. and just like go. Yeah.
Yeah, but in my case, I kind of, I mean, I'll crash early. I always crash early, and but then when I get up, I just love having that whole chunk of hours where again, like you're watching it before
Yeah.
you go to sleep. I'm watching it as I'm awake.
Yes.
And my friend Martha, who is a musician. Martha Trachtenberg, she will touch base somewhere 5, 6 in the morning. She goes, all right, time to go to bed. It's like,
Yeah.
I've been up for 3 hours.
Yes.
I'm getting up. She's just going to sleep, because even if I'm up at 3, even if I were to go to bed at 3, say that I was traveling or whatever, I'm still up at 5.
Yeah.
So I can't
Yeah.
sleep late. And it's
Yeah.
just, and even if I could, the dog will harass us.
Oh, yeah.
So-
That'll get you.
Yeah. So if we go on vacation, there's 2 things that are required: good restaurants
Yep.
and quiet.
Yes.
So I can freaking sleep. We'll go do something. Yeah, let's go for a hike. Let's go back to the room and sleep.
Nice.
Let's do something. Let's go back to the room and sleep.
This is why I think the tour life is so appealing to me, of like being an actor on tour. It's because like, I mean, other than the few matinees, mostly, the shows are like 8 p.m., maybe 7 p.m., and, I just have that whole day to just relax or sleep in, and the party doesn't start till late anyway, which really works for me.
Yeah, we all have our thing. And
Yeah.
They talk about biorhythms and whatever. And I'm just an early
Yeah.
person. I've always been an early person. Naps are cool. I like
I'm an
naps.
advocate of the
Yeah,
nap.
naps
for
are the
sure.
best.
Yeah, so power nap, get in there.
So if I've been up at 3 a.m. working, then there's going to be some time around 11, 12, 1, or even 2. It's
Yeah.
like, I got to close my eyes for an hour. I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you're like, you don't know what country you're in.
No. But what point is too much napping, like where you're now actually more tired instead of revitalized?
That's interesting. I think if I would hit 3 hours, I would be a mess.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. But 2 hours
Yeah,
is
'cause then
rare.
you're
but
in like REM sleep, but you didn't quite get the full
Yeah.
coverage. Yeah.
yeah, an hour is usually good. Sometimes 2 hours is absolutely necessary.
Sure.
Or there'll be a time where I've had an hour or two, and I know I have to get up. If
Yeah.
I don't get up, I'm just gonna be up for like days.
Yeah.
And I make myself up even though I don't want to. But that's why I don't want complete dark when I nap. I want to know the light's out there.
Agreed.
So it's somewhere in the back of my mind, I know
Yeah.
you need to get up.
Yeah.
You need to, but the dog will usually not let us
Sure.
sleep that long. It's like I need a snack.
Yes.
I need a walk. I would
Yeah.
like to be let out. I'm sure it's dinner time.
Yeah. I try to avoid the post meal naps, because then I'm not waking up. After dinner lately, I've been trying to go for like a walk for an hour every
Uh-huh.
day, just to kind of.
And that's good.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a lot of I don't actually have a lot of post meal naps.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm usually a pre meal nap.
Preparation.
I'm rested up for it.
Yeah.
But our life is just so crazy that there's always something going on. So
Sure.
it's like if you can get that little hour in there, which just like shut the world out. It's
Yeah.
like the best thing ever.
It's key.
I would love to sleep.
Yeah, sleeping is great.
I would love to sleep so much.
There's this poet, his name is M.T. Paridi, and he told me something once that has always stuck with me. He's like, an artist, everyone does, but an artist more than anyone else needs time of nothingness.
Yes.
Of just downtime, like doing nothing, because that nothing is not actually nothing. Like that nothing is summoning up the things that will percolate in your mind creatively.
Yep.
And I think it's so true. I feel like sometimes it feels like I'm doing nothing, like I'm spending a couple days and I feel like, oh, I'm not being productive, because I'm very much like objective oriented, like, but all that nothingness is just introspection, I think. Like I'm really like just meditating on whatever the next thing is, and I find that needed. Like that is a needed part of any process to create anything later on. So we're never really doing nothing, even when it appears we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of our ideas come right from. We have a call?
No.
I thought we
Is
were
that
really
you?
popular.
Okay, never mind.
Thought we were really popular. Yeah. Felt like I was on Frasier.
What happens to us a lot is when we walk the dog in the morning, we usually we'll go to the park or around the neighborhood or whatever, and all of a sudden everything just starts bubbling up. Like
Yeah.
we're doing this Hitman vertical series called The Retirement, based on a script by the original script by Glenn McBride. And then I kind of took it and ran with it, and I'm like, Glenn, can I completely change this? He goes, as long as you make me the hand, you can do whatever you want, it's yours.
Nice.
So I completely changed the thing, other than a couple of the characters who I just fell in love with. And Glenn is in it, and Travis Grant, and a few other people we've worked with, and a couple of parts we're still casting. And I sent it to my production designer, who I work with often, wanted to see it. So I sent it to her. She goes, oh my God, this is flippin' brilliant. This is wonderful. But when he wakes up in a hospital, he shouldn't be in a hospital. And I'd already decided he needed to be in a sort of more of a private facility where no one would find him. And then Corey said to me, he should wake up in a morgue. And I went, a morgue? And then John said, they know how to stitch people up. I went, oh, that's
Wow.
freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
So now it's like, he's going to wake up in a damn morgue with an undertaker looking at him.
Nice.
So,
Whole different vibe.
yeah. So it went from this one thing to something completely different, and now the character's changed because of it. He's the same, but, he'll probably wake up and say something to the effect of, I'm not dead. And the guy's like, brilliant observation. Okay. So then the coroner becomes different than the doctor, different than the nurse we were going to have.
Yeah.
But it's just because we're not doing anything but walking the dog, and there's trees and birds, and the brain just starts going.
You need that. You need that time. Otherwise, these ideas cannot flourish. Yeah.
So I was buried in festival work yesterday and whatnot, and I said, I need to rewrite this for an hour. I just need an hour, because I have a feature I need to rewrite one of the characters, but that's gonna be hours, and I knew I didn't have that. So it's just like, this I can rewrite in an hour and just change this one scene, and now I have to change it again.
Yeah.
Which is, you got to wrap your head around it so that now the whole script changes a little bit.
Yeah, you have to make sure this still makes sense on a grand scale. Yeah, because one tweak, right, can
and then
really
you might have to rewrite the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
then you're like, is that tweak worth it then?
Yeah.
Because it might affect everything else.
Yeah.
You have to create that balance. Yeah.
So we do that. Well, if I change this person to that person, then what happens to everything else?
Yeah.
And then
It's like the butterfly effect.
And then I want, but I want everything, even if it's a fantasy, I want everything to make sense.
Sure.
In the feature Yuletide, I'm producing that with Michael Fideli. He came up with the original idea. I'm like, okay, now don't talk to me till I write it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me anything until I write it. And I'll reach out to him and I'll just go, okay, so I want this to happen. Can this really happen? And he'll send me clips and he'll send me whatever. And I'm like, this actually did happen somewhere. Okay, then we can use this. But I want, as unlikely as it can be, I want to make sure it can actually happen in life. So, good.
So from nuts to bolts, what's your favorite part of the creative process?
Writing it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And the only reason I direct is because I want to see it come to life. I
Sure.
want to make sure it's told right.
Correct.
I am aware that there's things I'm going to write that other people will direct, or if people give me a lot of money, I wrote this to just come out there and let a far better director than I, with the experience, bring this to life. But for my indie things, I've been writing. I miss writing. And when I'm making movies, which I love doing, I miss writing so much. That's why yesterday I said, if I'm getting cranky, and if I don't write, it's not going to go well.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of the process is actually going in at the end to the musical composer and sitting with the composer and playing around with the music.
Nice.
That is because something happens, I think, when the score is put on top of the film,
Oh,
where for me, all of a
everything.
sudden, now it pops. Like,
Yeah.
now it just became a real thing. And Michael Ferrari is the composer I usually work with. He scored A Mother's Voice, Beyond the Silent Night, Museum of Lost Things. And he's brilliant, but it's play. Like, that's what because I'm sure we have a specific working relationship where he does not want to write anything before I come in the room.
Interesting.
He just wants to play. He's going to give me all different variations, and I'm like, no, this is not it. Not it. Oh, those two notes there's something here. Let's explore that. Like, that's how he likes to work. When we have the time, it's wonderful. It's more stressful when I have, like, a certain date it needs to be done. But I like even being an actor, my favorite part of being an actor is the rehearsal, because that's where the discoveries are made, right? That's where the play happens. And so, like, for Beyond the Silent Night, all the music, the entire score is all deconstructed Christmas music. It's all Christmas songs that are in the public domain that we stripped apart and, like, rebuilt, and then all of a sudden, somewhere in the scene you hear those familiar notes. You're like, oh, that's what this was the entire time. This is Jingle Bells, or whatever it is.
Wow.
He also scored Transit, New York City Fairy Tale, which is definitely one of my favorite films that G&E Productions made. And that was all, like, inspired by Disney princess movies, because it's like a New York City fairy tale. So we looked at the scores to the classic Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella and all of that, and kind of, like, went in that direction. So I like being intimately involved in the creation of the soundtrack.
Do you have a music background? Do you play any instruments?
I played trumpet for 8 years. I don't consider myself a musician. It was like elementary school, middle school, and I finished it all through high school. I did win, in high school I won the most improved student in concert band, which is the most backhanded compliment ever. It's like, you once were awful, and now you're kind of passable.
Now you don't suck as bad.
Exactly. And so I'll always remember that, and that was the end of my musical journey. So I don't really, like, read music anymore or anything like that, but I think I have an ear for it. Like, it's sort of like editing. Like, I cannot physically edit a film. Like, I'm not technically savvy in that regard at all. But I do kind of pick up on the little quarter-second moments that can, like, make or break something. Or make something feel very different, you know? Like, if Michael replays something that he played for me, and, like, there's just one note at like 2 minutes and 35 seconds into it that's just different, like, I know it's different. Yeah, I just feel it. And so I enjoy the process without understanding, let's say, the theory behind it.
The feeling, it's the intuition.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't usually get involved in the music until I hear a first pass from somebody.
Sure.
Like, I know there's people who get they get what I like, they get my style, they get what I want. One thing I just remember, just from an editing point of view and a shooting point of view, when I did my movie Leaving, I'd already done Last Taxi Driver, which was an apocalyptic zombie thing.
I remember.
And then when I wrote Leaving, I knew in my mind what I wanted, and I sat down with Mark Ryu, and before I even say anything, he goes, okay, I see I'm like, yes, exactly. That's exactly what I wanted. But with music, I work with a few people who I know get the sensitivity of the movie. I work with one composer from Italy who's just phenomenal.
Nice.
But when I did Waitlist, A Lovish Story, which is now on Prime Video, by the way, everybody should go see it. It was supposed to be a one-day film. And I knew I wanted something to be in the line of a John Hughes movie. I wanted to be funny. I just wanted to be silly and light, because life has been so freaking dark lately.
Yes.
And I was looking for music for it. There's one hallway scene that happens. It's a cute, funny little sex romp thing, and it needed the right song. It needed the right music. And so I posted on Facebook, and a lot of people sent me lovely music. I knew it wasn't it. And my friend Martha contacted me, and she does bluegrass and blues and everything, folk music. And she goes, what do you got? I said, your music isn't really right for this. And she says, what do you want? I said, I want preferably a female voice. I want something just incredible range, but really, really happy. But whatever, I got the person for you. And she sent me to Rory Kelly, and I told Rory what I wanted. And she goes, oh, all right. And she sends me a song. I'm like, I play it. It's called Everywhere I Go. I'm like, yes.
That's it. That's the one.
That is the song.
Yeah.
And my editor cut it to that song.
Nice.
And then she said, well, I said, let me listen to some of her other music. And Rob Riley had edited Waitlist. And I said, I just want her music everywhere. I want the soundtrack of this to be Rory Kelly.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few other small pieces in there, but 98% of it is her. And he said, well, I asked her if she had the tracks without the music so that we could use, lyrics in some areas and not. And that's one of my favorite things about the movie. I watch it and, the music carries it.
Yeah, it's like a character,
Yeah.
The music can be a character.
Yeah, so that's the first time I think the editor even put me down as with the music supervision role. I'm like, I didn't go, yeah, you did. You found it. You knew where you wanted it. And so there's that scene, and then there's a scene where there's a montage where a couple breaks up. Sorry, spoiler. But there was this haunting, actually parts of two songs that were very haunting that we put together during that just to see where they went on with their lives after. And it's I love that. But I if I could write and watch the actors do their thing and say, yeah, that's it. I would love to just have somebody bring me back the finished film.
Sure, yeah.
I posters can be torturous.
Sure, yes.
Yes, especially if you're like, oh, I didn't get that. That didn't look like I think I did, and I watched it. What if it didn't? And it always works.
Sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes everything went correct in the actual filming process, but at the end of the day, it's just not working. Yeah.
And sometimes you don't realize it at first. The movie we just did, From the Embers, acting is through the roof. I love it. And then I'm watching the ending, and I knew we wanted to reshoot it, but I don't like it at all. I just don't like it at all, and I don't know what to do. Yeah. And then John came up with an idea, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So we called the actors back, because we wanted to reshoot one of the scenes anyway for some reason. I don't remember what it was. And then we just went in a different direction, and I sent it to the finishing editor because Jack Kelly edited it, and then it went to Rob Riley for color. And I said, Rob, just insert this there. Just let's see what this looks like.
Sure.
And this I think will speak to me more. But John's like the best person at the last minute tweak.
The last minute tweak can make or break it.
Yeah. It does.
In the film Wet Paint we did that actually got into it was in the puppet theater version of the Scared for Your Life festival, I think in 2019. Mm-hmm. The film was like 20 minutes long. And it just wasn't working. Like, it wasn't scary. It was an interesting film, but like, it's a horror movie. Like, it's not scary. We didn't know what to do. So the editor was like, let me give it just a complete other go. And he made a 10-minute version. So half the film was gone. And we watched it, and it was quite creepy. And it just worked, right? That's literally like destroying half of your creation.
Yeah.
But it best serves the project, right? And that can be very difficult to do at times, but the 10-minute version was way better than the 20-minute version. So that's obviously what we had to go with. But sometimes you just sit there and you're like, what do we do with this? Like, it's not working. Why isn't it working?
So
what do we do?
The pieces are great. Why is it not?
Yeah, we have to rearrange these pieces completely in order to figure out what actually fits.
Yeah. And then after we did all that, when I should be sleeping, I am sleeping. I wake up and I go, okay, that has to go. Yeah. And then I just sent a DM I didn't want to text him because I don't want to wake anything up, but I sent a DM to the finishing editor. I said, you know where he says that last line in this one scene? Cut it. Just cut it. And on him, and if we don't have the right expression, move it to her. Yeah. And I'm sleeping. I wasn't even thinking about the film.
Yeah. Subconsciously you were.
The doing nothing is sometimes when the answer comes.
Exactly. That's why the nothingness is key.
How are we doing with time? 1 minute and we're done? Or are we done? Almost. 1 minute?
Good, 1 minute.
Sure. All right, we got 1 minute. So anyway, I am going to wrap this up, but so where can people see your films and what is next?
Okay, so you should definitely check out G&E Productions on social media. We have an Instagram page, we have a Facebook page. Obviously, our two films right now are on the festival circuit, so Beyond the Silent Night, you can next see at the Long Island International Film Expo. I believe we're the first block after the opening party. You could actually remind me of that date.
It will be July 8th.
July 8th. Come check it out at the Belmore Theater, Nassau County, Long Island, right across from the train station. Very proud of the film. It's a great film. So if you want to see it, come check it out. And then A Mother's Voice will soon enter its festival run. It hasn't been submitted to anything yet, but any of these old projects we're talking about are usually posted online after the festival circuit. So check out our website. You can check out some of our work that we're all very proud of, and there's always something next. Actually, next is going to be something new. It's going to be an animated horror film.
Oh,
that's
who's that? You have an animated for it already, or?
Yeah, we're partnered with this company in the Philippines. Actually, another former adult student of mine wrote this little short horror film, and we're like, it would be impossible to make it live action without like a ridiculous amount of money. So we're like, let's make it animated. So we just found our partnership, and we're gonna give that a go. Always try to do something different, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's why I'm doing the action thing, because and it's a vertical, because I haven't done it before.
Yeah.
I always want to do something I haven't done before.
Exciting.
So
it keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
Keeps it going.
Yeah, I'm just like this kind of world. I can't stop. It's
No.
exhausting, but
Yes,
it's fun.
exactly.
We love it. So anyway, I want to thank you all for watching us today. It's always great to be here and have this conversation with you eavesdropping. And really thank you to Greg Cioffi for just being so much fun and giving us so much information.
Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
It's a wonderful thing. So watch us next week. Thank you, Governors, for Governors Comedy Club for having us here, and Tony Walker behind the scenes, always making it run. And John in the background, just popping in bits of information when we need it.
Yeah.
But thank you all, and we will see you next week on The Best of Intentions.